jar somewhere.
It's really strange. Stuff like that and cahoots and stuff, I can really do good on those in just a short period of time. Just go over them several times and
As he called himself in Germany, only he could figure.
we got that Quizlet. I found the Quizlet on Quizlet. I looked it up, and then
All right.
and then he actually, I don't know if it was coincidence or what, but Brady actually sent us I think an email or something.
Okay, good. I had some students beginning to ask me about it.
Yeah,
You should leave like a tip jar somewhere.
it's really strange. Stuff like that and cahoots and stuff, I can really do good on those in just a short period of time. Just go over them several times, and so that's the reason I was hoping that he would post one.
Sure.
I've got my notes, but I mean, I got my little cards, and I guess I could have built a Quizlet on my own, but I just don't know how to do it, so I've been lazy.
Sometimes it's easier just to write them down by hand when you're sitting there and not have to sit up and type everything.
Okay.
Kelsey, did you decide if you do? Okay.
The phony war, is that I actually don't have any.
Okay.
I don't have anything on.
Okay. That's jumping way over. I was going to look at that first.
Wait, were you saying that you were looking at what she just?
If you don't care, we'll just kind of start at the top left and kind of work our way through.
Okay.
It's a little easier, but I will definitely come back to the phony war.
Okay.
I got one that I never did. I don't know if I just missed it. The Ruhr Crisis. I never did make a
The Ruhr Crisis. Okay, the Ruhr Crisis. That's another one. I'm going to write these down so I can.
I just now realized it doesn't say Ruth. It says Ruhr, R-U-R-H. It said R-U-T-H.
Yes, it's called the Ruhr. It's based around kind of like the Tennessee River Valley. Over there, it's the Ruhr River in this case.
Okay.
And my stupid phone is correcting me. I don't want it to correct me. It's listen to me.
I'll make a card on it now about what you tell me.
Well, I was wondering if we could just go chronologically.
Oh,
is there anything back on? I mean, if y'all wanted to jump ahead, I could just jump around like that. Well, that's fine. We'll just jump around. That best thing. Do you have them identified what you need, or is it helpful to go through each section?
I've got IDs on everything. That was the first one that I didn't have. I've got them highlighted as I put it down. I'm sorry. I did the same thing.
No problem.
Yes, he did. I jumped way out there.
That's absolutely fine. All right, y'all ready? I think I'll just jump in with the ones you've already mentioned.
Okay.
I said Kelsey, the phony war.
Mm-hmm.
This has to do with the origins of World War II.
Okay.
Adolf Hitler has defied all kinds of restrictions that Germany agreed to in the Versailles Treaty. He's done the Anschluss. He's taken over Czechoslovakia. And then finally, he goes to war with Poland. And he has gotten the Soviets to agree to the non-aggression pact. Okay. Nevertheless, Britain and France both declare war on Germany. In September 1939, the British and French finally declare war on Germany for just done so many things. But here's what the phony war is. Then they do nothing. They don't attack Germany. They begin to build up. They basically go on a defensive footing. They have declared war on Germany. Troops to be in France. But they don't attack Germany.
Hang on one second. You're kind of like breaking up. I can't really hear you.
Okay. I wonder, is it my headphones?
It's not happening on mine, so it must be.
Is it just
Something
me?
between you and him, because it's okay with me.
Okay.
How about
So it's this period between September 1939, when England and France declare war on Germany, but then they don't attack Germany. Finally, in May 1940, Germany finally goes on the attack. So the phony war has come to it. You know, the word phony means it's not real.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of what it means. It's like they're in a state of war, but no one's fighting, at least not over there between. And it's kind of indicative of the fact that England and France really had no plan on how to defeat the Germans and how to go to war with them. So they're in trouble. So Germany finally brings it to them with that famous, it's generally called the Blitzkrieg, the lightning war. Starts off in Norway, secures that the North Sea, and then he just blows through the French lines, surprises them in various ways, and takes over Paris in a number of weeks. And it's like fait accompli. It's an accomplished fact. It's over. So that's the phony war. You feel good about that one now, Kelsey?
Yeah, that helps a lot.
You,
I didn't have anything on that actually.
sure.
I guess I just went right over it.
Well, and I may have not clarified, or I could be in the middle of speaking and telling the history and not, being clear about this is the ID. To go back now to the Ruhr Crisis, which was Michael's question. Michael, this is like 1920, and the Germans have agreed to the Versailles Treaty. They've signed including Article 231, which they agreed to pay all the expenses of the war once the Allies figured out how much they owed. Well, they finally get their bill, and it's like they're going to have to pay like $60 billion and start making payments on that. And they immediately announced there's no way they can make that kind of payment. But here's the Ruhr Crisis. France and Belgium invade Germany. They go into German territory and they seize the whole Ruhr. That's R-U-H-R.
Okay, I remember this, and they took over their business, their factories and
Yeah.
stuff.
They took over their steel industry and their coal mines, and the Germans then decide that they're going to use passive resistance, and they tell no one to go to work, and that leads to this hyperinflation. It's just it's an indication the Versailles Treaty is not going to work out very well. By the way, the Americans, we had still had some American soldiers in Europe to kind of keep an eye on the Germans, but we decided that once the French and Belgians did that this wasn't going to go well, generally speaking, in Europe, and we were like, we're out of here. And so we pulled our troops out. And it also will help lead to the rise of Adolf Hitler, because so many Germans are frustrated with this experience and feel that their country's powerless to do anything. He certainly turns that around.
And Ruhr is like the area that they kind of took over, right? It's like in the northeast.
It's kind of a river basin area right on the border between France and Germany. It's on the western side of Germany. Who has another idea that they'd like to ask? Yes, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I wondered if when I've got my mic turned on, if my air conditioner blowing is what's messing up Kelsey being able to hear good. Is it when my mic is on that it does it? Or can you tell?
I think you're muted now, Kelsey. Kelsey's muted.
Sorry.
No problem.
Possibly because it kind of sounds like it overpowers them in a way, I guess.
I think so. A minute ago when that
we can do what Kelsey just did. When you're not talking, I guess we can mute ourselves.
Yeah, that's what.
So now everyone's
That's what happened a minute
All right.
ago. After I responded saying that I could hear you, and when she said she couldn't hear you, then I looked down and I realized my mic is on. Maybe I need to turn my mic off because my air conditioner cuts on.
Good idea.
Earlier today, I think you had a problem when my air conditioner kicked on.
Oh, I did not realize that. All right. Okay, so other IDs that y'all want me to clarify real quickly, or as quick as I can, so as not to have to keep you two forever. I know there's a 97, by the way, there's 97 questions on this test.
Well, I may remember this one too after you start telling me, but the one is, I'll spell it ANSCHLUSS. I don't have that highlighted as if I didn't make
okay, that's pronounced Anschluss.
Okay, Anschluss.
Okay, so here you go. In the Versailles Treaty, Germany was forbidden from becoming unified with Austria. You know, Austria had lost all of its big empire. Now Austria is just a little state. And so the natural inclination would be to see the Germans come together. But the French didn't want to see the Austrians and the Germans become one country because that would strengthen them. So that was a stipulation of the Versailles Treaty that the Germans agreed to. Well, in March 1938, I should mention this, in Austria, a Nazi party has emerged as well. And the Nazi Party of Austria begins to invite the Germans to march into Austria and unify with Austria. And so finally, Adolf Hitler, at the behest of the Austrian Nazi Party, marches in, but they don't come in like in warfare. They just march in, and it's mostly a celebration of most Austrians. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Have you seen the movie Sound of Music?
I can't. I know I've seen pieces of it. I don't know if I've ever sit and watched it all the way through. But yeah.
Well, that's set in Austria, and the main male figure is an Austrian naval officer, I believe naval. And when they come home from their honeymoon, there's a Nazi flag over his mansion, and he is not pleased with it.
Okay.
So not everybody was happy with the, but at any rate, Austria and Germany now unify. So the word Anschluss is unification, the German word for unification. So this is in defiance of the Versailles Treaty. That means that England and France could have declared war on Germany for doing that. They complained bitterly, threatened action, but ultimately they don't do anything. And so it's a clear indication to Adolf Hitler that the Germans, the French and the British just don't want to fight. I can pretty much do whatever I want. So the Austrian Anschluss is kind of the beginning of about a year and a half of Adolf Hitler continuing to blow through restrictions of the Versailles Treaty, and the British and the French continuing to do everything they can to prevent war. The next big crisis is the Munich Crisis of, the Czechoslovakian throwdown in October. So the Anschluss figures into all of that.
Okay.
Hope that helps.
Yes. I don't know. I don't know if you break up the trend of what we're doing, but something that's got me a little confused, and I don't know if it has anything to do with studying for the exam, so you might, but the difference between communism and fascism and the Nazi Party.
Yeah.
What is the difference between them three? I mean, what is their philosophy? Where's their Because there's a lot of similarities, right? Or
Yeah, so Nazi stands for National Socialist. So I'm telling you guys for a while now that one of the questions of the age, ever since we got industrialization, is this fight between capital and labor. And we had the rise of socialism as a desire to take better care of the workers and to create a more egalitarian society where there weren't these super wealthy and everybody else was, poor off. So both Mussolini and Adolf Hitler come out of a belief that there needs to be a solution to the problem between capital and labor. By the way, so here's where they're similar to the communists. The communists want to solve this issue too. And here's what the communists believe, that you got to destroy everything about a culture in order to ever get to the communist socialist nation. The communists believe that they want to get rid of private property. They don't like the traditional family unit. Because they think that it reinforces and teaches capitalist ideas and independent ideas, because the communists believe you have got to educate people to become social thinking. So they think of themselves as comrades and not to think of themselves as individuals. Well, that's a problem for people like Adolf Hitler and Mussolini, because they like all of the culture of their country. Mussolini's an atheist, but he still likes Easter. He still likes going home to the family, gathering and seeing the kids in their Sunday dresses, and he still likes all the traditions. But according to the communists, all those cultural traditions in countries simply reinforce and make a culture that prevents socialism from doing what it needs to do. And that may be the biggest difference, is that the Germans and the Nazis and the Italian fascists, they are nationalists. They have great pride in their national traditions and their culture. Whereas the Bolsheviks over in Russia, they want to destroy all the Russian cultural traditions and create something new. One other difference is that the communists in Russia will allow no private enterprise. Everything will be controlled by the government. All economic activity will be controlled by the government. Well, Germany and Italy do not. Fascism doesn't do that. Fascism calls for a very powerful government that can force the big businesses to do what they think is right for the workers. So it's an interesting, I think I showed you a picture of over on the far left of the communist ideology and how it operates. On the far right is the fascist Nazi system. Mm-hmm. And by the way, just to tell you, the word fascism comes to us from what Mussolini created, which was called the Fascist Party. So now, generally speaking, the Italian fascists, the German Nazis, that's still considered fascism, even though we kind of have give them their own name. So,
okay.
Another thing that's similar, one more thing that's similar about them is neither one believe in democracy. The communists believe that only the communist leadership can create the right society, therefore there's no democracy. And the fascist movement also believes that there's too many problems in society, too many different classes, and that there needs to be one decider. Il Duce, the Duke, or fascist in Italy, or the Führer, as he called himself in Germany. Only he could fix it. The position they took.
Okay.
But the Germans and the Italians didn't nationalize everything. But they had enough power that they could have done whatever they wanted to. Go ahead. That's the difference. One of the big differences. But they both use police, secret police, and they both jailed political dissidents. And so they both introduced absolutism again. The NKVD could knock on your door and you would never be seen again. The Gestapo could knock on your door in Germany and you'd never be seen again. So they have destroyed the liberal democratic state, which was so hard for over centuries. All right, go ahead.
That cleared it up good, and I now realize the fascists and the Nazis are pretty much the same thing, just different countries.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, generally call that fascism now.
And as far as communism, they have the
Mhm.
same kind of beliefs toward industry and the way the government's being run, but they feel like that the whole culture needs to be just whitewashed, and there's no room for any, like you said.
Yeah, start over altogether, retrain the children and make them think differently than their parents did. And there is one other difference economically. The fascists never totally took over the private economy and industry. They let them, they continued private companies that made profits. But they did tell those companies, hey, you're going to pay your workers more, you're going to give them, this many days vacation, you're going to allow this, you're going to allow that. And those big companies had to accept what the government said. They couldn't resist it. It's an interesting concept.
I'll tell you, something happened this morning. You're probably gonna get mad. He does this in class too. He goes off on stuff.
No.
But I went out this morning, and rather than calling, I don't know. Anyway, I was going to go to the bank machine just to check my balance, and I went to first bank. I went over here by the mall and over there by Hardee's, and they had cars all the way lined up because I guess the lobby's not open or something, and the cars were lined out into the street. And I was like, well, I'll just cruise down here to the middle of town. It's First Tennessee down here. Got down there, and it was the same way. And I'm like, what?
Uh-oh.
Is this like the old run on the bank type thing? I was wondering.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. I didn't know if I'd missed something on the news or something, and people were freaking out trying to draw money out, or what was going on Monday,
And I guess they're ready for banks to open. Maybe a lot of people got paid because it's the first of the month and they wanted to pull some cash out or do some kind of banking.
Because I'm worried about what's going to happen with, there's going to be some economic downturn because of this. Everybody being shut.
Yeah, for sure.
Take a month or 2 months.
Stick around. Yeah, stick around to the end, and we'll chit chat about some of that.
Okay, sorry about that.
So, but no problem. No, we'll come back around to the end. So, other IDs, Kelsey, do you have anything, or Madison, or Michael? Do y'all have more IDs?
I think the phony war is like the only one that I didn't really cover really good.
Okay.
But I think other than that, I'm
good.
Good.
You might go back through the review link that I provided. Fast forward in that link until I start talking about the different questions that people didn't do well on.
Okay.
And you might listen to those. That'll help you out a little bit. It'll help you make sure you got those nailed down. What about you, Madison? Madeline, did you have anything?
Yeah, I was wondering if you could go over the mandate system.
Yep. So at the end of World War I, at the Versailles, at the Peace Treaty in Paris, the French and the British, they're going to break up the empire. Remember that sick man of Europe? It's gone. So the Ottoman Empire is no longer an empire, and it becomes known as Turkey. But the Ottomans still had a little bit of territory left over in what we call the Middle East. And Britain and France basically wanted to take control of that property. And so they drew a map there. They created Iraq. They drew the map for Jordan. They drew the map for Lebanon and Syria. And then France took control of some, and England took control of some of these things. Now, they were called mandates because they didn't want to call them colonies, because the idea was that eventually these new countries would have their independence. So, but the lasting problem is that England has a philosophy of taking ethnic groups that hate each other and put them in the same country so they can play them off each other. So Iraq was drawn in a way that the Sunni Muslims in the west, the Kurds in the north, and the Shia Muslims in the southeast were all put in the same country. And so there's lasting problems in the Middle East because of the way that those maps were drawn at Versailles for the mandate system. Can y'all hear those horns honking in the background?
No.
I didn't know how loud my microphones are. Are you all good on these 97 IDs?
How about this Blitzkrieg? If I'm saying it right, Blitzkrieg?
Yeah, so that's a German word, basically means lightning war. As Adolf Hitler rearmed Germany during the 1930s, anticipating the next war, here's what you want to put down. He wanted to make sure that what happened in World War I did not happen again. As you can recall, World War I became stalemated, right? The two armies got together and they both dug trenches and there was nowhere to go. So in order to not let that happen, Adolf Hitler creates a new army that will be very fast moving. He's put a lot of, I don't know why somebody's driving around honking their horn.
I can hear that now. Yeah, that's weird.
It's like a little procession. It just has to do with like...
Might be somebody's birthday or something. People
That's
been
what
doing
I see.
Got balloons. Yeah, there's balloons on.
Uh,
Here, I'll turn it around so I can see it.
Oh yeah, it's definitely somebody's birthday.
It kind of says, "We love you." I wonder if it's like something having to do with like social efforts, like, you know, say thank you to nurses. Are they going around to different nurses' homes, you think? They might be. They might be going around town and going to people's, like, nurses. We love you. Yeah, I don't think it's a birthday thing. I think it's about thanking people for doing something for... What, baby? For the school Hillcrest. Okay, thank you. Well, looks like it's been going for a while. That's cute. So I live near Hillcrest School, and there I guess all the kids are driving around and going to their teachers' houses, I'm going to guess.
Oh, that's cute.
Sorry. It is cute.
that's pretty wild.
So really quickly here, Hitler uses tanks, really, you know, like his great Panzer tanks. He uses new aircraft like fighter bombers and mechanized troop transport. He uses paratroopers, and he uses it very effectively to blow through. He's got a very well-trained army, and they at the beginning, they blow through everything.
Good.
They blow past England's and France. If you've seen the movie Dunkirk, you know, the British are running for their lives, basically. It's very impressive at the beginning, the Blitzkrieg is, but over time, the Germans, when they take on the Russians, they don't quite have the capacity to maintain that kind of warfare for as long as they needed. Also, they kept trying to take over new territory like North Africa and Egypt, and they just overstretched themselves.
Okay, so the word Blitzkrieg is like a name of a type of strategy or something?
Yes, and it means lightning war.
Lightning war. Okay, thanks.
Lightning war, like a real fast war, like quick-moving military. To overwhelm your opponent.
Is that where the word blitz came from? Blitz?
Yes, so they ended up, in England, when they started being subjected to aerial bombardment, the English decided to call it the Blitz. That's how they referred to this bombing that they were being subjected to. The nice thing is the English were able to resist the German effort to get air superiority over England, and therefore England was never invaded. Hitler couldn't go to that next phase of, dropping paratroopers and landing troops across the English Channel. So he couldn't get that air superiority. Alrighty, Blitzkrieg. The
Thank
Blitz. Sure thing. Kelsey, what's your schedule looking like next couple of days for taking the test?
Let's see.
Are you wanting to wait all the way till Thursday? Are you thinking about Wednesday or?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna wait until Thursday just so I can, continue to study these next few days and
Okay.
but Thursday I can do it at any time, so I'm not really on much time.
Knowing that I have a lot of students who need to do this, at least 10, maybe 12, I'm just going to leave the next 3 days open. And so I'm going to do like first come, first basis, first requests. So if you will email me and tell me what time you want your test on Thursday, then I can pencil you in. But I will need to go and get firm times for everybody. And I guess I need to kind of set up like an hour and a half kind of thing for each person.
Okay, that's fine.
We'll do that. All right, are y'all good?
I'm good.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right. Well, do feel free to go back and review that other bit, at some point in time. Enjoy Brady's Quizlets. Did y'all find the Quizlets? Are y'all in the same class? Kelsey, what time did we have? Were you morning or afternoon?
I'm in the morning. I didn't get anything about the Quizlet.
Did you happen to see his Quizlets that I shared with you guys for test 2?
Yes. And then I think somebody else.
2 people. Harmony does it too.
Yeah.
Go back to those news items and follow to those test 2 Quizlets. But what you can do at that point in time, you can click on their name and it'll show you all the Quizlets that they have that are open.
Right. And he has one for this test?
Yeah, actually, I just saw it. Was you in my class?
No.
No, she's in the morning class.
What? Okay, I can't remember what. I was a morning class.
Kelsey, Madeline, are you morning class too? Okay. Yeah, y'all can't remember now. 9:35, yeah.
Yeah, 9:35 to 11, I think.
Okay. Yep. So go back to those old Quizlet, the links for Quizlet 2, and then from there navigate to that person's all their quizzes. If you can't find it, let me know and I'll track it down myself.
All right.
All right. Well, good luck to y'all. Be safe. Don't let down your guard with regard to the evil virus out there.
All right.
All right. Well, y'all hit me up by email if you have anything I need to answer that comes up.
All right.
And
Thank
Kelsey,
you.
I'll be looking for your... Oh, you're very welcome. Have a good evening.
You too.
Bye, guys.